That's Heather there and Intoxicate Me on WLR. Well, Pat McEvoy's on the line to us to talk about Red Iron. But first of all, Pat, we were just having a chat. How are you today, by the way? Is it cold in Tremor?
It's pouring rain out here, Jeff. I'm glad we're not doing this outside.
I was just saying to you that we just heard that Neill Tobin had passed away, and you were saying there's a connection with Jim Nolan, one of his earlier plays.
Right. Jim Nolan's played The Salvage Shop, which is one of his best. Now, definitely one of his best plays. It's the one I actually like most, but Jim's play, The Salvage Shop, starred Neill Tobin as the central character, and he was absolutely riveting in it. And the play actually went on that year to win Best New Play in 1998 at the awards.
Wow, that's incredible.
I don't know if Neill got an award, but he was a wonderful actor and a man who didn't suffer fools gladly. The great thing about him was he brought everybody else's performance up with him, Jeff, you know.
He was great friends with Eddie Wimbury as well, I remember him. I think Eddie used to do some stuff for him if he was doing comedy and things. He used to write stuff.
That's right. I think Eddie wrote some stuff for him, and he was. I think we were saying off air there that he had a marvellous Waterford accent when he wanted it.
He had the Ballybricken accent. He had that off to a T. I never heard anything like it, but I must go and root some stuff because I think we have some stuff. Anyway, everybody seems to have really enjoyed last night, yeah.
A new Jim Nolan play is always something to celebrate, and there was a huge house there last night. I just want to be well done to Padraig Reef and Michael Grant and Mary Roach for a marvellous opening. The Barrack Street Band there, a gin reception. There was a gathering of old friends, and it was a real buzz in the theatre. And a lot of the people there had actually contributed to the production costs of the play. So, believe it or not, Jeff, this is Jim has been writing for the plays for the last 50 years, and this is the 50th anniversary of his first play. It was a play called The Flowers of May. Right. And it's the first Jim Nolan play to be set exclusively in Waterford since that wonderful 1985 production. It was a Hallmark production called The Gods Are Angry, and everybody still remembers it. It's great to hear, you know, the old references to Mount Sion and Red Square and John's Park. And the only thing is that the central character, I just want to object to this, he hadn't a good word to say about Polbury or Aaron's Own, where I came from. So, it's a beautiful play. There's a lovely moment in the script as well when Keith Dunphy, who is excellent, and he plays this kind of this character Zorro, he repeats a litany of street names, and it brings a sense of calm to his soul when he's in torment and he's in Ferryhouse Industrial School. But he repeats this litany of street names: Mount Sion Avenue, Doyle Street, Monastery Street, Shore Course, and back home to his grandfather in Buttermilk Lane. And it's a beautiful moment in the play. If you're asking me what Jim Nolan's greatest talent is, it's in telling stories. I think that's what he does really, really well. And that's why audiences love to come to his plays, because you always leave with a great story behind you. Yeah. And the story is about 6 characters who were once part of a kind of a teenage bunch of friends. They refer to each other as a gang, but I think gang is the wrong word. They were a teenage bunch of friends, and they meet up on the Red Iron Bridge on the night that the Waterford hurling team comes back. Do you remember we lost to Galway in the 2016 All-Ireland hurling final?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so they meet up there on the bridge that night.
And that's where it's set?
Yeah, and the bridge, Dermot Quinn's set is just amazing. It's you could smell the rafters, you know, the timbers from it, and you know that rusty colour on the grates and so on the railings. It gives you an uneasy feel even when you're watching it. So they've all come to wake their recently deceased friend Joe Sinnott and to swap stories. So the story of the play really is the story behind Joe's death. And as I said, there's no better man than Jim Nolan to tell the story of Joe's death and the backstory of the 6 characters. Now, the one thing is, Jeff, I don't want to say too much about the storyline, because this is a brand new play. People are going to go in to hear it for the first time.
Yeah.
And I would be terrified to spoil anything of what is really a riveting night. In fact, I looked around the audience several times, and the concentration in people there watching the play, you could hear the silence in the audience. So it's something lovely to see.
It is.
It's a very it's a serious play, and the central character Brian Doherty plays is a character called Dog. Now they all have terrible names. Scabs is another name that's in there. But anyway, he's probably the nastiest and the most interesting character that Jim Nolan has ever written. Certainly not a man you'd want to be spending a lot of time with. Mm-hmm. But along with him, there's some great comedy as well, as the characters all comment on their own situation. So he has a stellar cast in this, and all of the actors, apart from one who was a young English actor called Neill Ditt, who is also excellent. The performances from Brian Doherty, Michael Quinlan, Gretta Rotchford, Keith Dunphy and Jenni Ledwell are all top drawer. Wonderful. What I love about the performances, they're convincing, they're different, and they're very, very truthful. There's a really true story being told here. So I'm not going to spoil the play by telling any more about it. It was a great opening last night. There was a big house there, and it's a great play penned by one of our own.
Exactly. So and it runs until November 30th, isn't it?
Yeah. You took the words out of my mouth. It runs until November 30th. It's a long run, but quite a number of the nights are sold out. Now, the one thing is, people always say to me afterwards, I didn't bother booking because I couldn't get tickets. There are still tickets available. And it's one of those plays that you want to say, I was there when it first ran. So my advice to everybody, it's well worth the ticket. It runs until November 30, and it's great to see a new Jim Nolan play. Isn't it great? Thanks, Pat. And just one other question. Are they going to travel with this? Will it tour? I don't know that, and there wouldn't be a problem with the travelling, because although the play, people often say plays like this are localised, they move beyond. They're universal in their themes. Yeah. And the truth of what's being expressed on stage applies to anywhere. So whether it's Barrack Street in Waterford or Barrack Street in Cork or Barrack Street in Limerick, it's all the same. The truth of what's being saying applies everywhere. So don't know whether it's travelling, but I would love to see it travel. Sounds like it deserves to anyway. Pat, yes. Thanks a million, and thumbs up from you. And I think everybody in here, I know Mary, well, there you are, Mary's from Kilkenny, and Mary was saying that she really enjoyed it. But the overall reaction from everybody in here has been extremely positive, so well done to everybody. Yeah, and I was listening to Dermot there earlier today, and he had a vox pop there where he spoke to people coming out, and the reactions were just great, especially the fellow who said his memories of the Red Iron were bunking off school in Mount Sinai and mitching up there at the Red Iron Bridge. That's gas. Pat, thanks a million, and stay warm and dry in Tramore. I certainly will. Thanks very much, Pat. You can read Pat's critique in the News and Star as well. Pat McEvoy there, 12:42.